Hello guys, this is Sayyid Muhammad Ahmed Hashmi and today we will talk about language and one of the major schools of linguistics, functionalism.
What is language? Language is a kind of black box puzzle. How? Because we know the input and we also know the output. For example, someone asks you, "Where are you going?" You say, "I'm going home." It means you know the listener and about his question, and you also generate the answer. But the process with which you understand the language of your listener, or the processes with the help of which you generate an answer, you do not know. It means that you know the input and you also know the output. As here, we can only check what is going in as an input and what is being produced as an output, but unaware of the processes in the box. It means that we need to understand the processes in order to understand the generation of language or the understanding of language by mind. So these imagined processes are called theories. As we know that in linguistics, we work on the scientific basis to understand language. We work to understand the structures and functions of language by the help of logics and by proving the things accordingly. So in linguistics, we study language on scientific basis. While working with the linguistics, we do have a number of schools of linguistics which are include functionalism, structuralism, generativism, and cognitivism, and some more also. But here in this video we will talk about functionalism. How language is used in everyday life. It means that in functionalism we go into everyday situation. People talk to each other. We need to talk to our friends, our family members, our classmates. At our workplace, we need to talk to our boss or the colleagues. Teacher need to talk to the students. Student need to talk to teachers. It means that in everyday situation, in everyday life, we work with the language and we use language as a tool to transport our messages. So structures of language should be understood by looking at the functions of language. Basically, this approach of functionalism is contrary to structuralism. Structuralism says that we need to understand the rules of language first, then we can apply those rules to work with language as a tool. But in functionalism, the approach is opposite. We go to the functions and we use language and we understand language from the functions of language. Around 1970, functionalism had been attached to a number of related fields including psychology, discourse analysis, syntax, linguistic typology, etc. Okay, with psychology first. When we listen language and generates language, we work or our mind works. Psychological analysis are there. If you are a healthy person and you are in your whole senses, you can generate a good message. And if a person is not in its good health of good mental health, he or she cannot generate a right answer. There could be a number of problems. It means that your psychic or your psychology is directly related to your language, production of language. So in order to better understand the linguistics, we need to understand the psychological processes in our mind. Then comes discourse analysis. Either it is a spoken discourse or a written discourse. We need to understand it in order to understand the language. Because in discourse analysis, we have different type of text. So with different type of text, the function become different. So we need to understand, also we need to understand the syntax, the structure of the sentence, the hidden messages under the sentences. So in order to understand the language, we need to understand the syntax as well. So linguistic typology. As we know, linguistics is not only related to a specific language, but with all of the languages. So in linguistic typology, we understand the different languages on the basis of similarities and differences. So we come to know that how different languages are produced in human brain and how human brain processes those languages. Then come the third point. Functionalism emphasis on the phonological, syntactic, semantic and pragmatic functions of language. Phonological. How? As we know, phonology is the specific study of any language sound system. But if we go deep into the phonology, we come to know about the stress patterns and intonation patterns. It means that these patterns are basically the output of your functions, because the same phrases and same clauses or same sentences are used differently in different contexts. Context to context, our stress patterns become change. For example, if we talk to our friend, our accent, our stress patterns become change. If we need to have the same conversation with our teachers, the stress patterns become again change. And if the same conversation we need to be with our classmates, our accent becomes again change. It means that in order to better understand the functions of language or the processing of language, we need to understand the stress patterns as well, that how human brain is focusing on certain words and how the human brain is stressing those specific syllables in order to fulfill a specific functions of language. So then comes the syntactic and semantic and pragmatic function. Semantic function, when we generate meanings. There are two kind of, as we know, more than two kinds of meanings are there. But here we talk about the denotative and connotative meaning. Denotative meanings are different from connotative meaning, but we create connotative meanings as well. We use words in order to give them a new meaning in any particular conversation. For example, when we say that Aslam is like a crow. When we say Aslam is a crow, it doesn't mean that Aslam is a bird, but he is as clever as crow is. It means that metaphorically we give the words different meanings. In this way, semantic and pragmatic analysis are very much important while working with functionalism, and we need to understand this deeply. Then comes the last point of the slide. Societal function, communicative function and functions of grammar were taken under consideration. So in functionalism approach, societal function, that how language, it also means that phatic function, that how language is used into society and how we fulfill our desire by living in the society with the help of language as a tool. And communicative function as well, the function of grammar were taken under consideration. So we do not need to understand the grammar first, but these are the functions which create grammar. These are the functions which create language. So these functions, in order to understand the language, we need to understand the functions of language. Functional theories and formal theories. First, functional theories. Various components of language by defining the functions of language. It means that we understand or we analyze the components of language in functionalism approach by understanding the functions, not understanding the structures as was in structuralism. So the functional theories are different from formal theories. In formal theories, relation among the elements of language by defining the system of rules. But we do not talk about system of rules or the static systems. We do not say it is a fixed system. No, these are dynamic. They change according to situation. So we use language according to situation. We cannot be a same person in all situations. We need to define the situation and we need to act according to that particular situation. So functional theories are completely different from formal theories. Functionalism can be described by Allen as holds that linguistic structures can only be understood and explained with reference to the semantic and communicative functions of language, whose primary function is to be a vehicle for social interaction among human beings. So two things are here: semantic and communicative function. In order to use the language or to understand the processing of your mind, you need to go to semantics, that how we are associating meanings with words. As according to Ogden and Richard theory of meaning, that words are arbitrary. These are the humans who give them meanings. These are the functions. According to those, we give the meanings to the words. So words itself are nothing. They are arbitrary. They are variables. So the values which those variables get, those are given by human mind. This was all about functionalism.
If you like this stuff, like my videos, please subscribe my channel, like and share my videos.